But look, we are moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, we're going to talk about the games because obviously there's a lot of games going on.
Yeah.
But we definitely need to dive into and take a look into the CFP, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting to that point. We're in November. We are right down the road from the conference championships and the CFP. I mean, I'm excited. It's great. It's also bittersweet. We know this is toward the end. But right now, I'm just so overwhelmed with so much football. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm not thinking about any of that stuff. So, look, right now, the current CFP looks as such with Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, all of them still undefeated at 10-0. You got one loss Tennessee, a 2-loss LSU, a 1-loss Southern Cal, 2-loss Bama, 1-loss Clemson, and a 2-loss Utah. Wow. I mean, that first four right there. I mean, obviously 2 and 3, we know you guys are going to have to play them. Explain that, because I know you had talked about that yesterday on the show. If you said if Ohio State loses, then they could potentially be in. But if Michigan loses, that's it for them.
So I think there's going to have to be chaos for Michigan to still get in. I think TCU obviously has to lose. I think Tennessee probably has to lose. Georgia has to win the conference championship game. USC probably has to lose their championship game. And then even then, you're putting them up against a 1-loss, either Clemson or North Carolina ACC champion.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, how much do we really value the conference championships?
Right.
So, but to me, I think if Ohio State loses, and I think for either team to have a chance, they have to lose a close one. Yeah. If either team gets blown out, that's it. They're done, I think. Yeah. Now, if, say, Ohio State loses by a field goal, they've still got a win over a now ranked Notre Dame and a win over a ranked, potentially soon to be top 10 Penn State. So that resume looks a little bit better than just Michigan's Penn State.
Yeah.
So I think at that point, Ohio State has a better shot to get in as that 4 seed than Michigan does.
Yeah.
I think Michigan needs to win more.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Now let me ask. So one of the things that you were saying yesterday, George, and I am pretty for the most part, I agree with you. Georgia's a lock. They're in there. TCU controls their own destiny. They have to win out.
They win and they're in.
Yeah, and they're in. Yeah. You have this. You just explained the Ohio State Michigan situation. Now, if Michigan loses, or if Ohio State or Michigan, one of them gets blown out, who jumps in? Is it automatically a Tennessee, knowing that they're not in the SEC championship? Is it an LSU, a 2-loss LSU, if they're able to win the SEC championship? Like, who has the front? I mean, and I don't even want to go. We can go to USC with there being a 1-loss, but it's widely known that they haven't really played the toughest competition. And when they actually did play a tough team, they got beat. So what are you thinking?
Now, I will say with USC, if they run the table, that means they're beating UCLA this week, a very highly ranked team. They're beating Notre Dame, another ranked team.
Solid team.
And then they're going to go beat a Utah, a Washington, an Oregon, somewhere in there, another very good ranked team. So if USC wins, they're probably in. Then I think you would go Georgia, the winner, Michigan, Ohio State, TCU, and USC.
Yeah.
Now, if LSU wins, then it gets interesting because you kind of look at a few years back when Auburn beat Alabama. Auburn went into the conference championship game and lost to, I want to say, who did they lose to that year? I think it was Georgia.
Yeah.
And Alabama snuck into the playoff as that 4 seed.
Didn't they leave Georgia out or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Somebody that was above them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think at this point, if LSU wins the SEC, Tennessee probably still sneaks in over them, I would think. Although that's a tough one because you also got to look at how LSU lost and when they lost, and those 2 losses were early.
Yeah.
So, and it's a neutral site game to Florida State in week 1. And I can't remember the other loss, if I'm being honest. But they've been on a tear lately. They beat some good teams, and if you go in and beat Georgia, that might be enough to get you in.
Right. I mean, we're talking about strength of schedule. So and you look back at that Florida State loss. Now, right now, Florida State is 19th in the CFP.
Yeah,
at 7-3, and that's an extra point away from us not even having that conversation, and potentially LSU being higher than they already are right now. But like you said, they're playing well right now. They've got the W's, obviously getting it one over Alabama. So that is huge for them. But look, speaking of Alabama, every year we're like, oh, there has to be chaos for all these other teams to get in, but there needs to be chaos. Absolutely.
You want to talk about that? Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, what honestly, what chances does Alabama have right now to even make a case to get into the Final Four?
I don't think they have one, because you need Michigan to lose or Ohio State to lose, which that's going to happen, one of them. You need TCU to lose at least once, if not twice.
Mm-hmm.
You probably need Tennessee to lose. You probably need LSU to lose that conference championship game. You need USC to lose. You need Clemson to lose. You need Utah to lose. Like, not only do you need the teams in front of you to lose, you need some of these teams behind you to lose too, because they've still got games to play for. Exactly. So I think Alabama's toast. I think Clemson's toast. I think Utah's toast. I think it's these top 7 teams and you guys.
Yeah. I
think those are the 8 teams that still have an argument to get in. Or I'll add UCLA as well.
Right. Yeah. So and then I guess that's my next question is which 2-loss team? I mean, we know about LSU, Bama's, we know about that. But like you said, you start going down to the Utahs, Penn State, obviously Oregon's, all these. Bedlam. You're going to need complete craziness to go ahead and break down to happen. So let's start going into outside looking in. You mentioned us. We got Georgia Tech, which on paper, obviously it should be a blowout, but this is a different team since they fired Jeff Collins. I talked about that earlier. You got Oregon at 12, 8-2, and they are playing number 10 Utah also at 8-2. And then you got UCLA at 8-2. They're ranked 16th, playing number 7 USC.
Yeah.
We have one loss. Yes, right now we're on a path. We're in the ACC championship, potentially playing Clemson, another potential one-loss team. But I think the bigger question, and you alluded to it earlier, the ACC. It's not known to be one of those perennially tough conferences, even though it has the Clemsons who've been to 6 out of the last 7 CFPs. Prior to last year, you know what I mean? And you have Florida State, who's been up there for a while, but obviously there's not that many teams that you can really hang your hat on. Is this one of these just fluke years? Or, I mean, how much does the pollsters and the CFP voters, put stock in a 10-11 win and 1 loss North Carolina if they make it?
I think you definitely got to give them consideration to get in because of how they've been.
Yeah.
You've got Drake May, is one of the best quarterbacks in the nation right now, and the numbers back that up. You've had electrifying games with Appalachian State. Notre Dame was a very good game back and forth. Miami was a fun game. Duke was a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia was a fun game. Wake Forest is a fun game. And you found ways to win both on the road and at home.
Yep.
So I think it's a good resume. You still got NC State and probably Clemson. That's 2 more ranked wins.
Yeah.
As long as NC State handles their business. This week, it'll be a ranked win when you guys play them. And then obviously Clemson will be a ranked win, probably both 1 loss. That's going to be a top 10 matchup.
Yeah.
So I think that might be enough with, say, an LSU probably loses, a USC potential loss. You guys will jump Bama. You guys would obviously jump Clemson. You jump Utah, Penn State, Oregon, a lot of these teams. You're going to be, if you guys win out, you're going to be in that potentially 3 through 6 to 7 range, I think.
Yeah.
And you've got a good argument to get in, if you ask me.
Yeah.
As for Oregon, those 2 losses definitely hurt, especially one of them being to Georgia, who's in.
Yeah.
And it not being close.
Not at all. Yeah.
Now that Washington lost, it's Washington's back in the rankings, so it looks a bit better, and it was by field goal. If you beat 10th ranked Utah and currently 23rd ranked Oregon State, then you're in the conference championship game playing a USC or a UCLA. And if you win that, then you're going to be same thing in that I would say probably 5 through 7 range for them.
Yeah.
Penn State doesn't have enough to get in. UCLA, same kind of thing as Oregon. I think if you win out and beat some of these teams you got to beat to get in, because I don't know who they play the last week. Oh, they play California. So I don't think their resume has enough to get in.
Yeah.
Personally, I think they're toast. Well, they've got the 2 conference losses, so they need Utah, USC, Oregon. They need USC and Oregon to at least lose a game each. And being all the way down at 16, I think it's too little, too late.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think North Carolina, I'm one that says they should be. I would put them at 10.
Yeah.
But it's also a very good Utah team, very good Penn State team, and very good Oregon team that you're lumped in with. So you guys handle your business. I think you should be in, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, it's definitely win out, and you kind of control your own destiny. At least you control that part of your destiny. And look, like you said, like we've been able to get it done. That's one of the things that Coach Mac Brown was saying is that these guys just find a way to win.
Yep.
We're talking about strength of schedule, and I understand that ACC is not as strong as some of these other conferences, but what is strong is winning on the road. If you can win on the road and do it consistently, that proves that you can play anybody, anywhere, anytime. We are undefeated on the road this year against some solid teams. Some of them that are definitely ranked or are definitely top tier. So that definitely will both help us and work in our favor. Shout out to Ben. How awesome would it be if UNC wins out and actually makes a top?
I want to see it.
That would be great. That would be great. And this year we have an opportunity. So 4 or 5 years ago, Sam Howell's freshman year, we had a similar opportunity. We only had 1 loss. We got ourselves into the ACC championship. We lost 37-33 and lost some of those games late. We actually played them earlier in the year with an opportunity to get a 2-point conversion and win. Ran an option play, which was ridiculous. I still remember that. And wasn't able to get in there, and then obviously the strength of schedule and a lot of other things played in. We have the caliber of team to do it. Our defense has been playing a lot better with Gene Chizik as DC. And then Mac Brown's got, Drake May, who we're going to talk about a little bit later. We can do it. It's in front of us, but I'm just going to, let's take it day by day. We got a pesky Georgia Tech team that's proven that they can get W's over big name squads. So we'll see what happens. Oregon, I pretty much agree with you. I think if they get the W and then continue winning, it's going to be an interesting conversation, but you can't erase 49-3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You cannot erase that. So I don't know what to tell you on that one. And as far as UCLA, they are too little too late is pretty accurate for me. And that loss against Arizona State, and then they just lost to?
Yeah.
Yeah, that don't look good. That don't look good.
And especially how the loss happened, because you got punched in the mouth early, you responded, and got punched in the mouth again.
Exactly. Yeah, that
doesn't look good.
No. So we will see. Those are the outside looking in. Is there anybody else? I mean, I know Kansas State, Ole Miss, Penn State you discussed. Anybody else on the list that you think is
No, because for a team to be that far down, the conference championship game is going to matter.
Yep.
So I think the only teams in that area that you could discuss in a conference championship game are Oregon and North Carolina, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State won't get in because their 2 losses are in the division. They're automatically pushed out. Kansas State is a 3-loss team in the Big 12 championship game. As a Big 12 fan, you better hope TCU wins out because then you'll get a spot in there because Kansas State ain't getting it.
Mm-mm.
There's, like I said, there's about 8 teams I would say have a shot still. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, obviously all undefeated. Tennessee, LSU, USC, and you guys.
Yeah.
I'd say that's about it at this point.
Yeah. Now, because we got our guy Ben in here, and we do have a 7-3 Florida State that's ranked 19th. They do have a win over LSU that potentially, LSU, we talked about them being in the hunt. If LSU, I mean, obviously you need every bit of chaos to potentially happen. You know what I mean? Like that 2007 year when like 6 or 7 teams were ranked number 2 at one point. Like you need that type of chaos. With that victory, how high does that push the bottom? I'm not necessarily talking about Final Four because they already have 3 losses. Yeah. But can Florida State maybe potentially year 6? Maybe
they'll be right on the edge of that, I think. Yeah, because actually that's tough because most of the New Year's 6 spots are locked to certain conferences.
Exactly.
Now you'll have probably at least 3 conference champions in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
So that might free up some spots for some at-large bids, but typically those go to the conference. So what they would need to do is they would need Clemson to lose probably twice, and North Carolina to win the ACC.
Yeah.
So then you have 3-loss Florida State and 3-loss Clemson for that at-large bid.
Yep.
And Ben, I don't believe so.
Mm-mm.
It's
that
been
one
undefeated
year,
or
Bama,
1 loss.
I don't think Bama got it that one year.
Here, I will get an answer.
Yeah, look that one up real quick because I know there was one year that people were making a lot of fuss about Bama. They had lost. I don't know, maybe it was LSU that year. Way
I think it was the year that they snuck in after Auburn lost the title game.
Yeah. One of those years down the line. Huh. Well, yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that for you, Ben. But it's very rare. We definitely know that.
Yeah. That's not going to be the way to look. Yeah, I will have an answer eventually.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.